Did you know that 58% of managers never receive any formal management training before stepping into their roles? Yep, that's more than half. If you're about to step into your first managerial role or have just started, then this video is for you. Today we're breaking down the essential skills every new manager needs, as well as actionable tips to help you master them. If you're new, hi, my name is Luki, and I create educational videos on jobs, careers, and life. If you're looking for some practical tips, advice, and life lessons, subscribe to stay up to date. And make sure you stay until the end to get all the tips to be successful as a new manager. Let's face it, most people become managers because they were great at their previous jobs, not necessarily because they were ready to lead. And that's where the challenge comes in. Don't worry though, we're going to cover everything you need to be successful as a manager. So what are the top skills you need to develop as a new manager? Let's break it down into 5 key areas. 1 is communication, 2 is empathy and emotional intelligence, 3 is delegation, 4 is decision making, and 5 is coaching and talent development. Let's start with communication. The heart of good leadership is clear and open communication. In fact, 86% of employees say poor communication is a top reason for failures in leadership. You'll need to practice how to communicate expectations, feedback, and praise clearly. Communication is a skill. Skills get better with practice. And communication is also a two-way street. When your team speaks, listen to understand, not just to respond. That's the foundation of trust. A regular one-on-one with your team member, at least monthly and ideally weekly, will help you allocate time for communication to take place. Just a simple meeting where you ask 3 questions. What did you work on since we last met? What do you plan to work on? And what do you need help with? After your one-on-one, take some time to reflect on what you did well and what you could do better. Create a feedback loop with your team and ask them what's working and what's not. And don't be afraid of criticism. It's your roadmap to improvement. Next is empathy and emotional intelligence. Your technical skills got you promoted, but EQ will help you lead. Managers with high EQ create stronger teams because they understand their team's needs and can support them better. Your primary job as a manager is to put your people in the best position to succeed. To understand their needs, preferences, and tendencies, that starts with empathy and EQ. Take some time to get to know team members as a person. Do they have family or caregiving responsibilities that they might need to adjust their work schedule? Are they looking to grow and be promoted sooner or later? Consider reflecting on your last one-on-one and putting yourself in your team member's shoes to understand their perspective. An interesting way to improve your empathy and EQ is to read rich fiction. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings could actually help you become a better manager. If you're finding this video helpful, then why not join the Focus Inspired Academy, which is your gym for career confidence. Go deeper into these concepts and get group coaching to help. Click at the link in the description box below for a free 1-month trial for supporting the channel. Let's talk about delegation. Knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. The hardest lesson for new managers is often learning to delegate effectively. After all, your job isn't to do it all, it's to make sure your team does. I found delegation to be challenging as well, as it's often easier and faster for you to do the work. The challenge is that if you do the work, you continually need to do the work. One of my former managers gave me a good lesson where he provided a scenario where you imagine that it takes you 8 hours to do something. So basically a full workday. But a junior team member would take 40 hours to do the same thing. That's a full work week. Plus, you have to manage them for 1 hour a day to make sure it gets done. At a quick glance, you would just do the work because it takes you 1 day while it takes them 5 days. But you should have them do the work because instead of taking you 8 hours to do it, it only takes you 5. That's just the management hours. Plus, even though it might take them 40 hours this time, with good coaching and mentoring, it might take them 32 hours next time, then 24 the next time after that, and so on, until they're almost as effective as you, or maybe even more efficient. Next up is decision making. As a manager, you'll need to make thoughtful and sometimes quick decisions, whether it's hiring, project direction, or even who gets which task. Decision making is critical. There's a saying, the most important thing is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. When challenges rise, it's often up to the manager, you, to determine whether the team continues doing what they're currently doing or to shift their attention to a new problem area. Decision making is dependent on your context. You might use time management frameworks like urgency and importance. You might use risk management frameworks based on impact and probability, or many others. Consider adding a few hours each week, or even a few minutes a day, to evaluate your decision making. What did you do well? What other information could you have considered in the next decision? If you're struggling with being a new manager, write your challenges in the comments below. We'll end off with coaching and developing talent. There are many other managerial skills that you'll want to develop, but we'll end off with this one. When you're a manager, you're no longer just responsible for your own output, but you're also responsible for developing the people on your team. Strong managers are coaches, helping their employees grow in their roles. In your one-on-ones, consider developing growth plans for your team member. They may want to develop their technical skills, their soft skills, or develop relationships with other folks in the company. They might want to develop the brand inside or even outside of the company. Do what you need to make them more efficient and effective in their role that allows them to grow. Plus, consider a management development plan for yourself. You may want to find a mentor to help. Every manager needs guidance. Find someone who's been through the ropes and can offer their guidance on navigating tough situations. Invest in your development. Read leadership books, attend workshops, or even watch more videos like this. You're not expected to know it all on day one, but the goal is to keep learning. One last thing, remember that management is a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. The key is learning from them and constantly improving. Now it's your turn. What's the biggest challenge you faced as a new manager? Or if you're about to become one, what's your biggest fear? Drop your comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tips to fuel your career journey. Until next time, be focused and stay inspired.